Tonight, on Midnight Murmurs Radio, we revisit a night when the air in Orlando was thick with both celebration and sorrow. Orlando Halloween Shooting 2024. A bedtime story, a relaxing sleep story, a guided sleep meditation wrapped in the quiet ache of memory, the echoes of history, and the soft ghosts that linger where laughter once lived. Before we begin, take a deep breath. Feel the air enter slowly through your nose and release it gently through your mouth. Let the weight of the day slide away, like rain running down a windowpin. Find your most comfortable position. Let your body sink into the mattress beneath you. Every muscle softening, every thought quieting. Inhale, exhale. The rhythm of your breathing is your anchor. Let it carry you deeper into calm, into warmth, into the coziest silence of night. Now, close your eyes. Imagine a candle flickering near you, its golden light dancing lazily against the walls. Outside, soft rain begins to fall over Orlando. The streets glow in wet reflections. Orange, violet, green, colors of celebration melting together beneath umbrellas and masks. It is Halloween night. 2024, the city hums with life. Laughter from bar doorways, the rustle of plastic costumes, distant music echoing from parties downtown. Yet beneath that joy, there is a hum low, steady, like the pulse of something hidden. Some say it's the storm. Others feel it deep within, as if the air itself is remembering. A small cafe sits near the edge of Lake Eola. Locals call it Marigold and Ash, a place that smells of roasted coffee and rain-damp wood. Its windows glow amber in the night, soft halos cutting through the drizzle. Inside, the chatter is gentle. Students, artists, lovers, unaware of how fragile their peace truly is. The bell over the door rings softly. A young woman steps inside, shaking droplets from her dark coat. Her name is Ayla Navarro, a history student at the university. Her thesis about American hauntings and the cultural memory of violence. She came for warmth, not for ghosts, though tonight the two will not be so easily separated. The barista greets her with a quiet smile, pours cinnamon into her cup, and the sweet smell fills the room. Ayla finds a small table near the window and opens her notebook. The candle beside her flickers as she writes the first line. Every city holds a heartbeat, even after it stops. Outside, rain whispers against the glass. The world feels suspended, peaceful, fragile, like a dream that could dissolve at any second. Far away, sirens begin to wail, faint, uncertain, as if they belong to another place, another time. Orlando is a city that remembers. It remembers music, lights, and grief. It remembers vigils where strangers held candles and whispered the names of the lost. Every year, October returns with its costumes and laughter, and every year, the air carries the same quiet ache beneath it all. In the cafe, a clock ticks softly. The sound is gentle but rhythmic, too steady, almost deliberate. Ayla pauses, looks up. Through the glass, she sees the reflection of the street, people passing, umbrellas opening and closing, and then, for just a second, a still figure a silhouette standing in the rain, unmoving, faceless in the blur of neon. Watching. Her pen stills on the page, the candle flickers, the rain grows heavier. Then, as if nothing happened, the figure is gone. Only the ripples on the wet pavement remain, trembling with the memory of footsteps. No one else seems to notice. The laughter inside the cafe continues, soft and distant, muffled by the storm. Ayla exhales and shakes her head lightly, half a smile on her lips, the kind people wear when they try to convince themselves they imagined it. Outside, the clock strikes 9. Somewhere, thunder rolls, not loud, but heavy, patient, like a hand knocking once at a door you don't want to open. And as Orlando settles deeper into the night, the city's lights shimmer against the water, reflecting shapes that no longer exist. The living and the dead walk closer here, especially on Halloween. The storm hides the line between them, blurring everything into one quiet hum. So, breathe slowly. Don't be afraid of the shadows flickering behind your eyelids. They're only memories, drifting, fading. The echoes of laughter, the rhythm of rain, the heartbeat of a city that never truly forgets. And as the story fades, allow yourself to drift into a peaceful sleep. Asterisk outside, the rain deepens. Its rhythm softens into something hypnotic, a lullaby made of droplets and distant thunder. Inside the cafe, the lights dim slightly, their glow turning honey gold against the windows. The hum of conversation fades until only the sound of the rain remains. Ayla sips her coffee. It has cooled now, the cinnamon scent softer, the warmth fading from her hands. She gazes out toward Lake Eola, where the city lights shimmer in trembling reflections. Each ripple seems to distort the skyline, bending reality into uncertain shapes. Towers stretching too high, clouds twisting into faces. She blinks, and the illusion fades. Somewhere behind her, the cafe door opens again. The bell chimes once, twice, but no footsteps follow. She turns slightly, expecting to see someone dripping with rain, shaking out an umbrella. Yet the doorway is empty. Only the wind answers, curling softly through the narrow space, carrying with it the scent of wet leaves and asphalt. The barista glances up, puzzled, then shrugs and returns to polishing a glass. The moment passes, but the air has changed. It feels heavier now, thick with silence, the kind that hums beneath the skin. Ayla lowers her gaze to her notebook. She writes slowly, the pen gliding over the paper. Ghosts do not always haunt places. Sometimes they haunt time. Her words seem to echo faintly in her mind, overlapping with a sound that isn't hers. A whisper, gentle, like a voice carried on the wind. Se freezes. It comes again, softer this time, so near that she almost feels it brushing against her ear. Do you remember me? The voice is male, calm, distant, threaded with a sorrow she cannot name. Isola looks up quickly. The cafe is still. No one close enough to speak. Her heart beats, once, twice, then slows as she exhales. She tells herself it was the rain. Always the rain. Outside, a flash of lightning slices through the clouds, revealing for an instant the empty park. beyond the lake. But in that white flash, she sees something, silhouettes, gathered beneath the bandstand, unmoving, heads bowed as though in prayer. Then, darkness. Agenda stands, her chair scraping softly against the wooden floor. She walks to the window, pressing her palm to the cool glass. The rain smears the world into silver streaks. The figure's gone, or maybe never there. Her reflection stares back at her, candlelight trembling across her face. For a moment, her own eyes don't look like hers. Behind her, a record begins to play on the cafe's old turntable. The melody is slow, gentle, a song from decades past. A man's voice hums faintly beneath the crackle. Meet me where the lights still glow. Ila turns toward the sound. The barista, confused, shakes his head. That's strange, he murmurs. No one turned that on. The melody fills the room, soft and haunting. A lullaby meant for no one, yet somehow familiar. Isla feels her pulse slow again, her mind drifting, pulled between wakefulness and dream. She closes her eyes, and when she opens them, the cafe is different. The rain outside has stopped. The light filtering through the windows is no longer golden, but gray, like the pale dawn before sunrise. The chatter of people is gone. The room feels hollow, the air dense and still. Every object, the tables, the cups, the candle, seems trapped in another time. Her notebook lies open on the table, but the words have changed. The ink is blurred, water-stained, as if written years ago. And there, on the corner of the page, a small dark circle, not ink, not coffee, something thicker. She touches it lightly with her fingertip, and her breath catches dried blood dot. In the distance, she hears sirens, faint, layered, echoing through walls that no longer belong to the present. Then, a voice, quiet, trembling. Young, help us, we never left. Isla turns sharply. Through the misted glass of the cafe, faces press against the window, pale, expressionless, half seen in the dim light. Dozens of tin, some in costumes, others just silhouettes of what might have been. The air smells faintly of smoke. The record scratches. The candle flickers once and goes out. Silence. Only the rain returns. Soft, steady, timeless. And somewhere between the falling drops, a whisper. It wasn't supposed to happen here. The sound fades like breath against glass. Isla closes her eyes, her body trembling, her mind sliding into a half-sleep where dreams and memories blur. The night outside deepens again, swallowing the cafe whole. And as you listen, let your breathing slow once more. The storm has passed. For now, the city sleeps, unaware of the echoes beneath its laughter. So rest easy, dear listener. The past will keep whispering, but tonight you are safe. As the story fades, allow yourself to drift into a peaceful sleep. When Isla opens her eyes again, time feels wrong. The world outside the cafe window has lost its rhythm. The rain no longer falls but hangs, suspended in droplets, gleaming like tiny mirrors in the half-light. The city seems paused, as though someone pressed their finger against the pulse of Orlando and held it still. She looks around. The cafe remains the same, yet not. The walls appear older now, wallpaper faded, photographs curling at the corners. The air smells faintly of smoke and something metallic. She touches the table, and a chill runs up her arm. The wood is damp, as if the memory of the storm still lingers. Her notebook lies open before her, but the handwriting isn't hers. It's sharper, hurried, written in ink that has bled into the paper like veins. We thought it was fireworks. A shiver crosses her spine. She glances toward the door, the same door that had chimed moments ago with no one entering. Now it's closed, its glass pane fogged with breath marks. 1, 2, 3 faint ovals, as though unseen faces press close, waiting. From behind the counter, a whisper. You shouldn't be here after midnight. Isla turns. The barista stands motionless, his face pale in the dim glow. His hands tremble slightly as he dries the same cup over and over. His name tag Liam is half missing. The letters smudged. Isla begins, but her voice catches. Something in his eyes stops her. They're too distant, too empty, like he's not looking at her, but through her. He sets the glass down slowly. Every Halloween, it happens again, he murmurs. They never remember. They never wake up. A low hum fills the air, vibrating through the wooden floor. The lights above flicker once, twice, then settle into a dull, amber glow. Outside, the rain resumes its fall, but the sound is strange. Heavier, like the slow drip of water in a cavern. Isla's heart beats faster. She stands, walks toward the window, across the street. She sees the old theater, its neon sign flickering Orlady, H. Lowenball. Figures move inside, shadows twirling as if the party never ended. Music drifts faintly across the rain, distorted, looping like an echo from the past. The barista's voice follows her softly. They were all here that night. The cafe, the park, the theater, the city was alive. Until it wasn't. She turns to face him. What are you talking about? A Luke's stone voice. Trembling now. You're standing in the middle of what's left. The words hang there, almost weightless, and yet they pull something deep inside her, a memory she doesn't own. The sound of screaming, the smell of gunpowder, the flash of strobe lights blending with panic. She blinks, and for a heartbeat, the cafe changes again. People fill the room, laughing, dancing, music spilling from a small speaker. Costumes shimmer under colored bulbs. Ila stands among them, unseen, watching. She recognizes some of the faces, the barista, the students, the lovers. Alive, unaware. A man near the window raises his phone, smiling as he records the crowd. Then the sound. Sharp, metallic, echoing. The laughter collapses into chaos. Cups. Shut. The lights burst. The record skips, repeating a single line. Meet me where the lights still glow. And then silence again. When Isla looks down, the floor beneath her is empty. Only candle wax, half melted, and a stain of dark brown long dried into the wood. Division. Faith. She's back in the stillness of the present. The cafe is empty once more. Liam stands behind the counter, tears glinting in his eyes, though his face does not move. They said it was a random act, he whispers. They said time would heal. But time forgot to move. Isla's voice is barely a breath. And you. What happened to you? He smiles faintly. A sorrowful, fragile thing. I'm still here. We all are. The clock on the wall begins to tick again. Slowly, deliberately, with each second, the room grows dimmer, as though the night itself is swallowing the light. Isla backs toward the door. Her hand trembles on the handle. She opens it, and outside, the rain has stopped. The street is empty. The air feels too still. The silence too perfect. She steps out onto the sidewalk. The cafe's warm glow fades behind her, and when she turns around, Marigold and Ash is gone. Only an empty lot remains, overgrown with weeds, a broken sign lying half buried in the dirt. She blinks, heart racing. Where the cafe once stood, faint candlelight flickers for a moment, then vanishes. And in that instant, she knows. She hasn't left the past. The past has found her. So breathe slowly. The air is heavy but kind. The storm above has quieted, but beneath it, the echoes of that night still hum, faint, rhythmic, eternal. Let your thoughts drift. Let your eyelids grow heavier. In this quiet moment, remember, sometimes this city dreams too, and its dreams are not always peaceful. As the story fades, allow yourself to drift into a peaceful sleep. Asterisk, the rain has stopped, but the air still hums. Isla stands alone on the deserted street, her reflection faint in a puddle that seems deeper than it should be. The city around her feels hollow, like a photograph left too long in the sun, edges fading, colors melting into gray. She clutches her coat tighter. In the distance, a siren wails, then dies abruptly, cut off mid. Somewhere, a dog barks, once, twice, then silence again. Orlando sleeps, but not peacefully. She starts walking past shuttered stores and broken lampposts until she reaches the park. It's the same place from the old photos, the Halloween carnival ground where everything began. The rides are gone, yet the outline of their shadows still stains the earth. A single street lamp flickers near the swings, casting a weak orange glow that sways with the wind. Beneath it, something glints. She kneels, brushing away wet leaves. A silver locket, small, heart-shaped, engraved with the initials EM. When she opens it, a voice sighs through the trees. You came back. Isla. Freezes. The voice is soft, fragile, like a memory spoken underwater. She looks up, and the air ripples faintly. Figures begin to appear, silhouettes first, then faces, transparent, shimmering in the half-light. Young, old, costumed, smiling. Their eyes hold stories they never got to finish. The boy with the pumpkin mask, the woman in angel wings, the barista with the missing name tag. They surround her silently, like a dream remembering itself. Isla whispers, "Who are you?" A woman steps forward. Her dress is torn, blood-stained lace clinging to pale skin. "We were the music," she says, her voice echoing through the still air. "We were the laughter before the noise." Isla shakes her head. "This isn't real." The woman tilts her head, sadness in her eyes. "Neither was." Forgetting, a cold wind sweeps through the park, scattering the leaves. The locket in Isla's hand begins to pulse, faintly warm. Inside, she notices for the first time a photograph. A group of people smiling, arms around each other, standing in front of the cafe at the center of the photo. He's here, younger, carefree, a ghost of the girl she used to be. The realization hits her like a tremor. She wasn't a visitor to the story. She was part of it. One of the survivors. The only one who walked away when time stopped moving. Her breath falters. Around her, the spirits flicker, as though her memory has stirred them awake. The boy in the pumpkin mask steps closer, holding something, a candle melted to the end. "We stayed to keep the lights burning," he says, "but they're fading now. You were supposed to remember." Isla's eyes fill with tears. "Remember what?" He points toward the far end of the park. There, under the lone oak tree, lies the outline of something dark on the grass, the shape of a circle burned into the soil. "That's where it began," he whispers. "That's where you left us." The hum in the air grows louder, like 1,000 whispered voices overlapping. Isla takes a hesitant step forward. Each footfall feels heavier, as though the ground remembers her weight. When she reaches the circle, her knees weaken. She touches the soil, cold, damp, and humming with energy. In her mind, flashes, the flash of lights, the screams, her own voice calling someone's name, Evan, Ethan. And then the sharp sound of a gunshot, closer than breath. The world fractured that night. She had run, stumbled, fallen. And when she rose, the city was quiet. Everyone else had stayed behind. The woman's voice returns, softer now. "You can't keep walking between dreams, Isla. The dead are patient, but memory isn't." Isla closes the locket gently. The heartbeat inside fades. Around her, the spirits begin to dissolve, their forms turning to mist. "Wait," she whispers. "Don't go." The boy's voice drifts one last time through the wind. "If you want to find peace, go back to where it ended. Marigold and ash. Midnight. One last candle. Then they're gone." The park is empty once more. Only the faint outline of the circle remains, and the hum has turned into a steady rhythm, like a heartbeat buried beneath the earth. Isla looks toward the horizon. The city lights flicker as if breathing. Her reflection in the puddles smiles back at her, but it's not quite the same. The eyes in the reflection are older, sadder, aware. She whispers to herself, almost like a prayer. "I remember now." A warm tear slides down her cheek. Somewhere far away, a clock strikes 12. Midnight. And with it, the first drops of rain begin again. Soft and deliberate, the night exhales. Somewhere beneath it, the dead listen. Illa walks through the quiet streets of Orlando, the wet pavement, reflecting the faint glow of distant street. Every sound is magnified. A lone car tire rolling over a puddle, the soft rustle of leaves, the whisper of wind threading through the trees. The city sleeps, yet she feels it watching, remembering. She heads toward the empty lot where Marigold and Ash once stood. The air grows cooler, heavier, as if each breath pulls memories from the ground itself. The lot is quiet, overgrown, but in the distance a faint amber glow beckons. She walks toward it, the light growing warmer, more tangible, until finally she stands before a doorway that wasn't there before. The cafe reappears in full warm light spilling into the night, soft music humming, the smell of coffee and cinnamon returning. Inside, the tables are arranged as they were the night of the tragedy, candles flickering gently in the dim light. She steps across the threshold, and the world shifts subtly. The hum of the city outside fades, replaced by a pulse she feels in her chest, as though the building itself is breathing. A figure approaches, familiar, yet spectral. The barista, Liam, older and paler, but with a kind, sorrowful gaze. "You came," he says softly. Isela nods, voice trembling. I had to remember." He gestures toward a single candle at the center of the cafe, its flame trembling. "This is the last one," he whispers. "Light Italiano. For them, for yourself, for the night that refuses to be forgotten." She bends, striking a match, her hands unsteady as the flame meets the wick. Warmth spreads, yet the air around her feels electric, alive. Shadows in the corners stretch, forming vague shapes. The children in costumes, the young couple laughing, the barista with his trembling hands. All frozen moments, waiting. The softest whisper threads through the room. "Thank you for remembering." Isla's reflection catches her eye in the window. She looks not like herself, but like the version of her who had been there that night, the survivor who left while others could not. Her heart quickens, yet calm washes over her. She feels the weight of memories settle into the floorboards, the walls, the very air. Each breath she takes blending with the lives that linger here. Outside, the rain begins again, soft, gentle, not harsh, not urgent, a lullaby marking the rhythm of the city's slow heartbeat. She walks among the spectral figures, brushing fingertips against them, feeling their warmth, their sadness, their relief. A boy with a pumpkin mask tilts his head, smiling faintly. The couple dances slowly, suspended in a moment of eternity. Liam nods at her from behind the counter. "It is done," he whispers. The candle burns. The story is held. The night remembers. "And now you may rest." Isla exhales, knees weak, but her mind is steady. She knows she has faced the remnants of the past, embraced them and allowed them to settle. The cafe dims, the candlelight flickers, and a gentle hush falls over the room. Outside, the city hums quietly, alive and breathing. Isla steps toward the door, turning back once to see the ghostly patrons dissolve into the air, leaving behind only warmth and the faint scent of coffee. She steps into the night, the empty lot waiting. The storm has passed. Her reflection in a puddle smiles back at her softer, peaceful, reconciled. She breathes in the cool air, the pulse of the city echoing within her chest. For the first time since that night, she feels the calm of remembering, the quiet magic of acceptance. The last candle flickers once, then fades, leaving the room empty, silent, yet holding every heartbeat that ever passed through it. As you listen, breathe slowly. Let your eyelids sink. The night is long, but safe. And even in the echo of sorrow, there is peace. Allow yourself to drift into a coziest sleep, carrying with you the whispers of those who finally found their rest. Asteriskila steps out of marigold and ash, the night air cooled against her skin. The city has returned to its ordinary rhythm. Streetlights flicker, cars hum past, distant laughter drifts from a corner bar, yet something lingers, faint and ungraspable, like the memory of a dream. Just before waking, she walks slowly, tracing her steps across the wet pavement, feeling the echoes of the night pulse softly beneath her feet. Every corner of Orlando seems quiet, yet listening closely, she can still hear whispers, faint as wind through autumn leaves. The lamplight glimmers on puddles, reflecting not just her own image, but shadows of the past, fragments of faces, a laughter that shouldn't exist, a candle flickering where none stands. Ayla breathes deeply, allowing the cool night to settle into her chest, letting the memories blend into calm rather than fear. She passes empty streets and shuttered stores, each echo a footstep, a reminder that the city carries history in its bones, stories of joy, of tragedy, of lives that intersected for a moment and left an imprint that never fades. Somewhere above, clouds drift slowly past the moon, silver and gentle, masking and revealing light in quiet rhythm. In air pocket, the locket rests, faintly warm, a tether to the night she survived and to those who did not. She pauses for a moment, looking toward the distant skyline, feeling a profound connection to the city, to the souls she glimpsed, to the story that remains alive in whispers and memory. Then she turns her gaze downward, steps lighter now, her mind at ease. The night is still, the air serene, and yet she knows the echoes of the Halloween night of 2024 will continue to hum softly in Orlando's heart. The wind carries a faint scent of coffee and candle wax, mingled with rain, a lullaby for the city, for the living, and for those who linger unseen. Ayla inhales, letting herself smile faintly. Somewhere far off, a clock strikes 1, its chime low, measured, comforting. She walks on, feeling the calm of the city fold around her like a blanket. And as you listen, dear friend, let your own thoughts slow. Let your breath steady. Imagine the lights flickering softly behind you, the warmth of candle glow in the shadows, the city humming beneath a veil of rain. The past has been remembered, the stories carried gently into quiet. Tonight, you are safe. And while the echoes of the world around you may never fully disappear, they can become a gentle rhythm, lulling you toward rest. If you've enjoyed this journey through Orlando's whispers, the hidden memories, and the quiet reflections of a city that never forgets, please consider supporting Midnight Murmurs Radio. Subscribe, follow, and allow us to bring more stories that guide you gently into sleep, wrapped in calm, mystery, and the coziest echoes of history. As the story fades, take a deep breath, release, and allow yourself to drift into the most peaceful sleep, carrying with you the warmth of remembered souls and the quiet magic of a night that lives forever in whispers. The night drifts on, heavier now, carrying with it the faint scent of rain-soaked streets and autumn leaves. Isla walks through Orlando's quieter neighborhoods, where the lamplight pools in small circles on wet sidewalks and shadows stretch like lingering memories. Somewhere a train whistles in the distance, its note long and low, vibrating through the pavement beneath her feet, as if the earth itself hums with stories left untold. She pauses near a row of old Victorian houses, their paint peeling, shutters rattling softly in the wind. The structures seem to sigh with history, memories of laughter, arguments, long-forgotten celebrations, and untimely farewells. From within the walls, she imagines whispers, families long gone, secrets buried, and moments of fear that were never spoken aloud. She breathes in slowly, letting her shoulders relax, and notices the small details, the way water beats on wrought iron fences, the soft glow of a street lamp reflecting in a puddle, the distant rustle of a cat among the hedges. Yet even in this quiet, the city feels aware, alive with echoes. A door creaks in one of the old houses, though no one seems inside. The sound repeats, rhythmic, like a heartbeat. Isla's pulse matches it. Without her realizing, she feels herself drawn closer, as if the night itself guides her steps toward a hidden story. Along the way, she passes a small park, its playground empty, swings swaying gently in the breeze. Beneath the moonlight, the outlines of children at play emerge and dissolve, memories suspended, waiting for acknowledgement. The wind carries faint laughter, fractured, almost musical, threading through the trees. Ila kneels by the sandbox, brushing her fingers over scattered leaves. They seem to settle, forming patterns, initials, shapes, tiny remnants of lives interrupted. Somewhere beyond, an old lamppost flickers, revealing figures dressed in costumes from decades past. They do not move, yet she senses their awareness. Her heartbeat slows. She realizes these are fragments of a city's collective memory, pieces of the past she can touch, feel, yet not change. A faint light flickers in the distance, not a street lamp, not a house, but a single candle. Its flame dances. As though it recognizes her approach, she walks toward it, noticing the faint outline of an old church she had passed countless times. Its doors long closed to the live-in. The candle rests on the threshold, inviting, soft and warm against the cool night air. Isla kneels, letting the flame illuminate her face, her eyes reflecting curiosity, fear, and understanding. A whisper threads through the wind, carrying the cadence of multiple voices. Remember us, for we linger where history was cruel. She leans closer, listening, feeling the weight of untold stories, the children who disappeared, the families who never found closure. The events brushed aside by headlines, by time, by those who turned away. The candle flickers, casting elongated shadows along the cracked pathway, revealing fleeting images. A mother calling out, a child lost in a crowd, a teacher's voice echoing in an empty classroom. Isla's hands tremble slightly. The city around her seems to breathe, pulse, and fold inward, as though she has stepped into the very soul of Orlando, its hidden layers of tragedy, fear, hope, and memory intertwined. She closes her eyes for a moment, letting the sounds of the night guide her thoughts. The rustling leaves, the distant train, the whispering wind, the soft trickle of water from rain gutters. Each element becomes a note in the melody of remembrance, fragile yet persistent. When she opens her eyes, the candle remains, its glow unwavering, and she senses the presence of those who cannot speak aloud. They are neither hostile nor vengeful, merely persistent, awaiting acknowledgement, wanting to be remembered. Isla stands slowly, leaving the candle where it rests. She feels lighter, yet aware that her journey has just begun. There are other streets, other houses, other echoes waiting for her attention. She inhales deeply, letting the night enfold her, carrying with it stories that will not be forgotten. As the soft wind brushes against her, a voice, faint yet distinct, reaches her ears. Walk carefully, for the city watches, and every memory desires its due. Isla continues along the quiet streets, the lamplight guiding her steps, each one deliberate, each one measured. She feels the calm of being observed, not with malice, but with expectation. The night deepens, shadows stretching and merging, revealing glimpses of histories folded into the very bricks and mortar. As you listen, allow your own thoughts to slow, your breathing to match the rhythm of the city's pulse. Let the echoes of these hidden stories brush past you, gentle, coziest, and strangely magical. Remember, the past lingers, but tonight you are safe, and the whispers of the city fold around you like a comforting shawl. As the story fades, allow yourself to drift into peaceful sleep, carrying with you the soft, enigmatic pulse of Orlando's quiet secrets. Isla moves quietly through the quiet streets, the wet pavement reflecting the faint glow of distant neon and street lamps. Each step measured, deliberate. The city breathes around her. Low hums from distant traffic mingling with the rustle of leaves and the soft trickle of water from rain gutters. She approaches an old Victorian house, long abandoned, its paint peeling and shutters barely clinging to rusted hinges. It sits quietly at the edge of a narrow lane, overgrown garden twisting around wrought iron fences. There is a weight here, a presence, as though the walls themselves remember every laugh, every argument, every secret whispered within. The front door stands slightly ajar, inviting her in. She hesitates, feeling the pulse of the house beneath the floorboards, a rhythm like a slow heartbeat, patient, steady, waiting. Pushing the door open, she steps into the dim interior. Dust floats in golden slivers through fractured sunlight, and the air carries the faint scent of smoke, decay, and something metallic, like old memories bleeding into the present. Each step echoes softly, reverberating through empty rooms, carrying whispers she cannot yet understand. She moves deeper, past a parlor where furniture sits frozen in time, chairs overturned, a piano with cracked keys silent, yet humming faintly, a melody half remembered. On the walls, photographs in black and white capture moments of joy, their edges curling, faces smiling, unaware of the tragedy that will one day touch this house. She lingers over each frame, noticing small details. A child clutching a pumpkin, a man's hand resting on a shoulder, a woman's gaze toward an open window, longing, anticipating. The house exhales, and the sound carries low, almost like breathing. Ela follows it upstairs, each step deliberate, slow, the wooden floor creaking under her weight. In the hallway, shadows pool in corners, twisting subtly, forming shapes of figures who never left. She can feel their presence, patient, waiting for recognition. A door at the end of the hall glows faintly. She approaches and finds a candle, alone on the floor, its flame quivering. Around it, faint outlines of children playing in costumes, echoes of laughter, fragments of Halloween nights long past, suspended in time. She kneels, breathing slowly, noticing a small journal lying beside the candle. Opening it, she reads entries in a careful hand, accounts of parties, festivals, moments of innocent joy, followed by abrupt lines of fear, panic, the sudden intrusion of violence and loss. The words resonate within her, echoing the city's hidden tragedies, the lives disrupted, the memories erased by time and fear. The candle flickers, casting elongated shadows on the walls. A mother reaching for a child, a group of teenagers frozen mid-laugh, a man in a suit standing still, expression unreadable. Ela traces the shadows with her fingertips, feeling warmth, sorrow, and resilience in equal measure. Outside, the wind stirs, carrying faint sounds of distant sirens, the muted chatter of streets, and the rhythmic tapping of rain against windows long neglected. Each sound blends with the whispers inside, forming a lullaby of memory and caution. She senses that the house itself wants her to understand, to witness, to remember. The walls vibrate slightly, faint pulses of energy, and she realizes the house is a vessel, a repository for stories the city cannot allow to be forgotten. In a final, delicate moment, the candle flares gently, illuminating every corner, every shadow, every trace of life once lived. The whispers crescendo softly, a choir of remembrance and acknowledgement, then fade into silence. Ela rises, leaving the candle where it stands, and steps toward the door. She pauses, looking back once, seeing the house breathe in stillness, aware yet at peace. The street outside welcomes her again, quiet, dimly lit, the city alive but patient. She walks on, the air cool and calm, footsteps light, mind attuned to the hidden rhythms of Orlando, carrying memories, echoes, and the faint, comforting pulse of the unseen. The night stretches on, soft, gentle, guiding her thoughts, letting eyelids grow heavy, allowing the listener to drift, to float, to rest amidst shadows and whispers, knowing that the city remembers, and so can we, safely, peacefully, magically. As the story fades, take a deep breath, release, and let yourself drift into the coziest, most tranquil sleep, wrapped in the gentle mysteries of Orlando's quiet secrets. Ela walks quietly toward the abandoned church at the edge of Orlando, the rain having left the air damp, fragrant with wet earth and the faint smell of burnt leaves. The church stands in silence, its steeple broken, windows cracked, and doors slightly warped. as though time itself has left its fingerprints on the structure. She pauses, noticing the faint glow of candlelight inside, flickering against broken glass, beckoning her in, stepping through the threshold. The air inside is cool, heavy, yet strangely comforting, carrying faint whispers of hymns long forgotten, their echoes vibrating in the wooden beams above. The pews are dust-covered, but ghostly outlines suggest recent presence, as if those who once worshipped here never fully left. Ella moves carefully down the center aisle, each step awakening tiny echoes, a rhythm that matches her own heartbeat. Shadows gather along the walls, stretching and bending into shapes of faces, hands raised in silent prayer, children kneeling in the back pews, eyes wide with anticipation. A faint scent of incense lingers, mingling with something sharper: fear, regret, and a trace of gunpowder. The memory of violence lingering in the air. She kneels beside the altar, noticing a journal placed delicately atop the pulpit. Pages yellowed, writing faint but legible. The entries recount stories of the community, lives intertwined with celebrations, secrets hidden behind closed doors, injustices overlooked, tragedies swept aside. One line catches her attention. "We thought the city would remember, but the city forgets to is." The candlelight flickers, shadows dancing across the walls, revealing faces in the audience. Young, old, costumed. Some smiling, some staring with hollow eyes. Their presence is not malevolent, yet it carries weight, a reminder that the past lingers where memory has failed. Isla closes her eyes, letting the whispers flow through her, each story seeping into her consciousness. She feels the fear, the sorrow, the quiet resilience of those who lived and died unnoticed, unremembered, until now. A soft creak echoes from the choir loft above, and a figure descends, a child, barely more than a shadow, carrying a small lantern. Its light washes over the pews, illuminating inscriptions carved into the wood, names of families long gone, histories erased by neglect and violence. Isla watches, heart steadying, understanding that she has been brought here to witness, to acknowledge, to carry these stories forward. She walks to the rear of the church, past the baptismal font, and pauses at a door slightly ajar, revealing a small room with photographs pinned to the wall. They show families celebrating Halloween, children in masks, parents smiling, all ordinary moments now haunted by the memory of the shooting, the chaos, the silence that followed. She touches one photo, gently, feeling the warmth of a memory preserved against time. A faint voice threads through the air. "Remember us, so we are not lost." The candlelight flickers again, casting long shadows that merge with the dark corners, forming glimpses of those who will never return to their lives, yet linger here, tethered by memory and by the tragedy that touched them. Isla closeth her eyes, inhaling slowly, letting the stories wash over her, her mind and body synchronizing with the rhythm of the past. She feels a gentle pulse beneath her feet, the heartbeat of the church, the city, the night itself. When she opens her eyes, the room is empty once more. Candle flickering low, shadows softening. She steps back toward the aisle, noticing for the first time the delicate carvings along the floor. Names, dates, fragments of stories trace us of lives intertwined with joy, sorrow, and moments of unforeseen consequence. As she exits the church, the night air welcomes her again, cool and soft, carrying the scent of rain and earth, the faint echo of whispered prayers, and the subtle hum of memory preserved. The city beyond seems peaceful, ordinary, yet Ila knows the hidden layers, the echoes of histories, tragedies, and resilience that lie just beneath the surface. And as you listen, breathe slowly, let your thoughts drift, your eyelids grow heavy, and imagine the city's whispers threading through the night, carrying stories of the past, both gentle and haunting. Allow yourself to sink into the coziest, most magical sleep, while the city dreams around you, and the echoes of Orlando's hidden truths fold softly into the quiet of the night. Isla walks along the narrow street toward a house long abandoned, its windows dark, curtains tattered, and paint faded from years of sun and rain. The neighborhood is quiet, almost unnaturally so. The only sounds her own footsteps tapping against the damp pavement and the soft rustle of leaves stirred by a gentle breeze. The air carries the faint scent of smoke, damp wood, and a trace of something metallic, lingering like a memory. She pauses at the gate, wrought iron curling into delicate, twisted patterns, and pushes it open, the hinges groaning softly. Inside, the house seems frozen in time, with furniture coated in a thin layer of dust, books stacked haphazardly, and remnants of costumes scattered on the floor. Tiny masks, half-melted candles, a ribbon torn from a child's dress. She steps carefully, sensing that the walls themselves hold echoes of the past, murmurs of the laughter and cries that once filled the rooms. In the living room, a fireplace sits cold and empty, yet shadows dance along its mantle as though the fire itself remembers. Isla kneels beside a small, framed photograph. On the floor, children in Halloween costumes, smiling brightly, unaware of the tragedy that will touch their lives. She traces a finger along one smiling face, feeling the warmth of memory, the weight of loss. A soft creak above her draws her gaze upward. From the staircase, a figure descends slowly. A young boy in a skeleton costume, translucent, his eyes wide and luminous. "You remember," he whispers, voice fragile like the rustle of paper. "You see us." Isla nods, swallowing hard, feeling the familiar pulse of quiet fear mingled with calm. She senses the presence of the others, parents, neighbors, friends, all tethered to this night. Toti's house, to the memories that refuse to fade. A breeze sweeps through the open windows, carrying faint laughter and the distant hum of the city, blending past and present, life and shadow. She moves to the hallway, noticing faint handprints on the walls, fingerprints pressed into plaster. Worn wheat time, evidence of hands that once reached for safety, for comfort, for each other. In the dining room, a single candle flickers on a long table, illuminating a spread of decayed remnants of a Halloween feast, candy wrappers, carved pumpkins softened with age, a plate tipped over. The shadows cast by the candle form ghostly figures, children reaching for treats that are no longer there, parents leaning down to smile, laugh, to warn, to protect. Isla steps closer, breathing slowly, letting the warmth of the candle brush her skin, feeling the presence of lives interrupted, stories left unfinished. She opens a small chest tucked beneath the staircase. Inside are mementos, a diary, a tiny toy, a single glove, a ribbon. Each item hums faintly, vibrating with the memory of touch, of intention, of a life once lived fully, now paused in silence. She lifts the diary, running her fingers over the delicate script, tales of ordinary days, of school, of festivals, of families and friendships, ordinary life interrupted by violence, by absence, by unspoken fears. A faint echo drifts through the room, the sound of footsteps, a distant knock, a door creaking, soft laughter. Ayla feels her heartbeat slow, matching the rhythm of the house. Understanding that she is not intruding but participating, acknowledging the presence of those whose stories were hidden, she places the diary carefully back, leaving the candle burning softly, its flame steady despite the draft from broken windows. Standing in the center of the room, she exhales, feeling the weight of memory settle around her like a gentle blanket. Shadows twist and stretch, but not threateningly. They are guides, reminders of what once was, what needs to be remembered. She walks back toward the front door, pausing briefly to look at the street beyond the threshold. The city is calm, ordinary, yet alive with the quiet pulse of hidden stories, echoes waiting for acknowledgement. Ayla steps outside, the air cool against her skin, carrying the faint scent of damp leaves and the distant hum of Orlando at night. She walks slowly, letting the experiences settle into her mind, allowing the city's whispers to fold around her, soothing, mysterious, and comforting. As you listen, breathe deeply. Let your body relax, and let the shadows and echoes of this hidden house mingle with your imagination, guiding you gently into the coziest, most peaceful sleep. The night holds you soft and secure, while the memories of the past drift silently through the streets, through the walls, and into quiet, magical slumber. Ayla follows a narrow alley that opens into a courtyard, the cobblestones slick from earlier rain, reflecting faint glimmers of distant streetlights. The courtyard is littered with remnants of Halloween celebrations past, discarded masks, twisted ribbons, shards of carved pumpkins, softened by weather. She kneels to examine a half-broken jack-o'-lantern, noticing faint etchings on its surface, symbols that seem almost familiar, whispering of forgotten traditions and rituals lost to time. The wind brushes against her, carrying faint laughter, distant and soft, fractured like memories suspended in amber. Shadows gather along the edges of the courtyard, faint outlines of children in costumes, somilogin, some standing silent, eyes wide, watching her every movement. Ayla's heartbeat slows, matching the rhythm of the night, her breath measured and calm, as if the courtyard itself guides her through its history. A low hum rises from the stones beneath her feet, subtle, like the city exhaling, carrying the memory of lives once lived, lives abruptly interrupted. She notices a narrow stairwell tucked between two brick walls, the entrance half obscured by ivy and debris. Descending carefully, Ayla enters a basement space, damp and cold, with faint candlelight glimmering along the edges of the room. Shelves line the walls, filled with old toys, costumes, letters, and photographs, artifacts of Halloween nights long past. Each item vibrates faintly with memory, humming with the presence of those who once touched them. She picks up a small, worn mask, the edgeth frayed, and places it gently over her own face. The room responds. Shadows elongate, forming soft silhouettes of children dancing, whispering, playing. Isla hears faint voices, recounting the stories of Halloween nights, of games that ended abruptly, of celebrations that became tragedy, of lives entangled in the chaos of 2024. The candlelight flickers, revealing faint traces of gunpowder, a reminder of the violence that interrupted the festivities, of the lives that will never fully return to laughter. She senses the collective gaze of the spirits, not hostile, but insistent, a request for acknowledgement, remembrance, validation of their presence. Isla moves to a corner where a small, crumpled notebook lies, its pages yellowed, ink faded. Reading carefully, she discovers accounts written by children and parents, their words fragmented but sincere, expressing joy, fear, and the innocence that was so abruptly stolen. Each sentence seems to pulse, breathing life into the silent room. She places her hand on the floor, feeling the energy of those who remain tethered to this place, their essence mingling with the memories of the night. A faint draft brushes past her, carrying with it whispers from the street above, fragments of conversations, distant sirens, and echoes of celebration now interwoven with tragedy. Isla breathes slowly, allowing the sensations to wash over her, the weight of history and loss settling gently into the quiet spaces of her mind. She realizes that she is both observer and participant, the keeper of these echoes, the bridge between the living and the memories that linger. Rising carefully, she ascends the stairwell, placing the notebook back on the shelf, leaving the candlelight undisturbed, its flame steady, a small beacon for those who cannot speak aloud. Stepping back into the courtyard, the shadows soften, merging with the night, leaving only gentle traces of laughter and light. The city beyond hums quietly, familiar yet imbued with the hidden stories Isla has witnessed. She inhales deeply, letting the night enfold her, aware that, while the tragedies of the past cannot be undone, acknowledgement allows their memory to persist in peace. As you listen, let your breath match the rhythm of her steps. Let your mind drift gently and imagine the echoes of Halloween nights past, the hidden memories folding around you, carrying you into a calm, magical, and coziest sleep. The night is long, the city alive with quiet remembrance, and the spirits of Orlando whisper softly, guiding you into rest and tranquility, while the candlelight flickers gently in the shadows, holding stories that will never be forgotten. Isla walks slowly through the quiet streets of Orlando, the night air crisp, carrying the faint scent of rain, fallen leaves, and distant smoke. The city hums softly, lights reflecting on wet pavement, shadows stretching and curling with a life of their own. She pauses before a small park, benches empty, swings moving gently in the breeze, the echoes of laughter and footsteps from Halloween's past lingering invisibly around her. Each step she takes seems to awaken faint memories etched into the city itself, the playful shouts of children, the nervous whispers of parents, and the sudden, chilling silence that followed the events of 2024. Ayla inhales slowly, feeling the weight of these recollections settle around her, heavy yet calm, reminding her that even in tragedy, there is remembrance, acknowledgement, and the quiet magic of memory preserved. She approaches a row of houses, their windows dark but filled with traces of celebration, decorations left half forgotten, faint traces of costumes and candy on steps and lawns. Shadows in the doorways twist subtly, forming silhouettes of those who linger. Friends, neighbors, children, tethered not by fear, but by the need to be remembered. A soft rustle through the trees draws her gaze upward. Moonlight filters through branches, casting fragmented patterns across the sidewalk, revealing faint figures dancing, suspended in mid-motion, echoes of joy and terror interwoven in delicate balance. Ayla pauses to watch, letting the visions of the past and the whispering presence of spirits fall gently into her mind. The streets stretch onward, silent and comforting, yet alive with the pulse of hidden stories, the weight of history, and the faint hum of unresolved sorrow. She walks toward the riverbank, where the water glimmers under the moon, reflecting light and shadow alike, carrying with it the quiet echoes of the night's events, flowing gently, persistent, and eternal. Here, at the edge of the city, Ayla senses the culmination of her journey. Every step, every pause, every glance has been an acknowledgement of lives touched, disrupted, or lost. The whispers grow softer, kinder, a lullaby threaded through the night. Stories held, memories honored, tragedies recognized. She breathes deeply, letting the gentle rhythm of the river, the soft sway of trees, and the faint hum of the city carry her thoughts, allowing tension to dissolve, allowing the city and its unseen inhabitants to settle into calm. Ayla turns slowly back toward the streets she has walked, feeling the warmth of resolution, the quiet reassurance that remembrance itself is a balm. And as you listen, take this moment to inhale, exhale, and allow the weight of the day to lift, letting the whispers of the night guide you gently toward rest. The city has shared its secrets, acknowledged its ghosts, and now the night enfolds both Ayla and you, the listener, in peace and quiet magic. Before we conclude tonight's journey, I invite you to support Midnight Murmurs Radio so that these stories, soft and haunting, magical and comforting, may continue to reach your ears and your imagination. Subscribe, follow, and allow us to bring you more nights of whispered tales, gentle mysteries, and coziest, most peaceful slumber. As the story fades, let your mind drift with Ayla's footsteps. Let the echoes of Orlando's hidden truths wrap around you, and allow yourself to sink fully into a restful, tranquil sleep, carrying with you the soft hum of memory, magic, and the quiet presence of those who linger in shadow, acknowledged at last.